Hello, good afternoon. It's a new week. Hello and welcome to the marketplace. In the next 30 minutes, the Ghana card replaces SSNIT scheme identification number from today for processing benefits and contributions. Also, we'll bring you the thoughts of an expert on the European Union's decision to remove Ghana from the list of countries with anti-money laundering deficiencies after a similar move by the Financial Action Task Force last week. Plus, in the bulletin, young entrepreneurs are still struggling to get up on their feet. We have troubling details from the Ghana Youth Business Performance and Sustainability Index report, which lists lack of access to finance and capital, the high cost of inputs, as a major threat to the growth of youth-led businesses in Ghana. Hello once again, I'm Charles Aite. We have all these stories coming up shortly after this break this day. Now, Ghana is no longer on the European Union's list of countries that have failed to put in measures to fight money laundering. This follows the country's removal from the League of Countries cited for money laundering by the Financial Action Task Force last week. We have more on what the task force said in a statement.
The Financial Action Task Force, in a statement, said it welcomed the significant progress by the country in improving its anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism regime. It said Ghana has strengthened the effectiveness of its regime and addressed related technical deficiencies to meet the commitments in its action plan regarding the strategic deficiencies that the task force identified in October 2018. The EU blacklisted Ghana among several other countries for money laundering in May 2020. Other African countries blacklisted were Botswana, Mauritius, and Zimbabwe. The EU said under the Anti-Money Laundering Directive, the Commission has revised its list, taking into account developments at the international level since 2018, and that the new list is now better aligned with the list published by the Financial Action Task Force. The Bahamas, Barbados, Jamaica, along with Cambodia, Mongolia, Myanmar, Nicaragua, and Panama are the other affected countries.
Well, we're joined by a cybersecurity and anti-money laundering expert, Eric Quartey, on this development. Eric, we're so grateful that you joined us. First of all, what message does this send to investors, especially those within the cybersecurity landscape? Eric, if you could hear me, of course, we've seen the European Union, take Ghana off the blacklist after progress in tackling deficiencies. The question to you, therefore, is what message does this send to investors along this value chain of cybersecurity and issues regarding huge sums of investment?
Hello?
Yeah, Eric, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, perfectly. So this is good news, but what message does it send to investors and players within the space?
Well, it's very good news for for Ghana as a whole, and the financial service industry particularly. And so I'm quite fine that we have gotten to this stage.
But do you believe this particular perception that we're out of the woods when it comes to money laundering?
No, we are not out of it at all. Because the financial service industry is a playground for money laundering to start with. In 1966, in a case involving UDC versus Kirkwood, a UK court case, the business of banking was defined and the functions of a banker was stated as accepting deposits for the credit of the customer's account, to honor the customer's instructions to pay, and then to keep some of the accounts for these transactions for the deposits and the instruction. If we juxtapose this to money laundering, the first stage in money laundering is placement. And the definition of placement is putting money, illegal or dirty money, into the financial service industry. And so if the financial service industry has a function for the bank to accept deposits, it means that any deposit that comes into a bank or financial service industry is a potential placement activity in money laundering. In honoring the customer's instructions to pay in banking, accounting rules provide that the account must be debited. Juxtapose that to the second stage in money laundering, layering suggests that the money that has been previously placed will be layered into several places in order to infiltrate the trader. And the money will go to those layers only when it is taken out of the source where the situation where the placement was made, and we become the source for layering.
All right.
And so every time a financial service industry accepts deposits to the customer's account, a potential placement activity arises.
Great.
Anytime a banker handles a customer instructions to pay and a debit is raised to a customer's account, a potential layering activity arises.
So speaking about layering and even matters regarding firewalls in the cybersecurity space, what measures can be put in place to make this sustainable so we don't get back to this matter of us being blacklisted in the future?
The issue is layering will take place when there are people involved. So it doesn't matter the medium or platform, whether it is IT-based or what have you. In cybersecurity, it's another discussion altogether. But the important part of it is that anytime IT comes into business operations, accuracy is sacrificed for speed.
All right.
And so the question of money laundering in the financial service industry is closer to us than the close that we were. And as long as the financial service industry exists in the world, money laundering will stay at us at all times unless the people speak up. Because when placement takes place as a result of a deposit to a customer's account, money laundering offense does not arise.
Okay.
It is only when layering takes place. That is when the money dirty money that has been placed into the financial service is being taken out, that the crime or offense of money laundering arises. And why will that money leave the financial service industry? Only when the people factor turns out wrong or systems go wrong.
Great. Eric, we're so grateful for your input there. He's a cybersecurity and anti-money laundering expert within this field as Ghana gets, lifted out of its blacklisting space by the European Union when it comes to money laundering and cyber crime. Away from that, the Ghana Export Promotion Authority has urged the public to patronize Ghanaian handicrafts to help boost the country's economy. Speaking to Joy Business at the Arts and Crafts exhibition, the CEO of GEPA, Dr. Foasabi Asari, said Ghanaian products, including handicraft, must stand out quality. And of course, we're competing favorably on the international market. We have more in this report. The exhibition, which saw over 40 exhibitors, was organized by GEPA in collaboration with the Accra Arts and Crafts Market Exhibition to help local artisans develop and increase patronage of their products. According to the CEO of GEPA, the exercise was a way of building the capacity of the vendors to market their products to buyers, saying so far it had brought more people, including expatriates, to patronize the products.
We always say that charity begins at home. So if people are interested in our products at home, especially the expatriates home we export our products and services to, then it means we are doing something good. So for me, it's all good. It's all good. And this is an opportunity for us to test what we have with them to see if it's really going to do well. Yeah. The focus now for GEPA is on art and craft for this year, because we haven't done so much with it. We have tried, but it's a huge sector, and we need to make a deliberate effort to work on promoting this particular sector of the industry. Yeah. The expectation was for the artisans to get local markets and identify some unique products from among them for international exhibitions.
They've given me the opportunity to, show up who I am and then what I do to the world and then people around me. So it's been of help to me as an artist coming up, and then this opportunity is the best I could have, and I'm happy to be able to showcase my talent and what is within me to the world.
Well, I have a lot. Especially the Mokola market, that's at the back. One of my latest spending, especially from the Mokola. And the Tama station, that's the Tama station, the Toto station. And then the seascape. Yeah.
Okay, so most of your artwork depicts places and events, right?
Our normal lifestyle here in Ghana. Our lifestyle here. The way we do things here in Ghana.
Meanwhile, some expatriates shared with Joy Business experience upon having a look at most of these products made in Ghana.
Excited about the paintings here, especially this particular one. There's some good artists here, and I really love what she's doing.
No, I've been in Africa for the last 10 years of my life, so first in Senegal and now here. I think it's a very good initiative that should be repeated often.
It's very diverse material, merchandises. It's very good. My first time here, but I've been here before, but my first event here like this. So I'm very impressed. Yeah, I think it's very good. I mean, there's always room for improvement. I think it's very good overall. I think you do some, good packaging and the way they present the items and whatnot. I think it's good.
COVID-19 has had a huge turn on Ghana's art and craft industry. With several innovations and strategies to revamp the sector, most artisans are being urged to sign up with GEPA in their Impact Trade Hub to expand the knowledge as well as explore opportunities abroad. Charles Aito's report for Joy Business. Well, still on entrepreneurship, the Youth Center Engagement Group and Participatory Development Associates, in partnership with the Ghana Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs as well as the Association of Ghana Industries, have come up with the Ghana Youth Business Performance and Sustainability Index. Now, the study, which sampled 2,016 young enterprises from all 16 regions, showed that enterprises perform worst on the economic sub-pillar with a lack of access to finance and capital, high cost of inputs and poor sales and profits, threatening the sustainability of youth-owned businesses. Well, the very second issue is that rural enterprises are the worst performers among all 16 regions, with Western North obtaining the highest average. Also, male-owned youth enterprises slightly perform better than their female-owned enterprises. These are startling revelations that this particular index reveals to us. And joining us in studio is Senior Lecturer at the Department of Economics at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Prince Frimpong. We're so grateful, Doc, that you joined us. Of course, these are troubling issues that the index has raised to us, but help us understand the metrics by which you measured most of these enterprises.
Oh, okay, thank you. Basically, this index is anchored on 3 pillars. Okay. The social dimension, the economic dimension, and systems governing these enterprises. So for each of these sub-pillars, there are various indicators measuring them. Okay. So at each level, we weighted and normalized these, responses from these enterprises that we gathered, and then we aggregated it to a single index. Okay. So basically, it's anchored on these 3 pillars. Okay. Yeah.
But of course, as we go through the details of the report, we get to understand the various threats that hamper the growth of youth-based enterprises. Lack of finance, lack of access to credit, issues regarding low sales profitability. But then we do know that government has a blueprint for most of these SMEs to thrive. The stimulus package currently under the Youth Enterprise Agency is also, running over. Is it suggesting that most of these blueprints and these policies are not really reflecting the sustainability of youth-based enterprises?
Okay, thank you. Like I said, these are the 3 broad dimensions, and it seems as though the economic bit seems to, drive the index a bit down. So we may not be in a position to say that the government policies and things are not working, because it's an average index that we developed. So if you check, some are doing well, and then some are not doing well at all. So the average is, more like suggesting that these businesses are moderately sustainable. It's not like they're not doing it at all. So probably with the more needed support, I'm sure that they can do better.
And speaking of SMEs, Doc, we do know that 80% of them are the ones that often hold the backbone of employment within the country. Sure. So that with most of them being exposed to these challenges, what prospects lie when it comes to employment opportunities in the future?
Okay, so with this index, the outlook basically is that if you check information in particular, many of them indicated that they don't know, they are not even aware of some of the information to access, to credit, and then also a lot of that. So if you're able to more or less sustain or deepen the information flow, they may be able to get the areas or where the quarters where they can really get. Again, we can talk of the space, their rental spaces. Many of them were temporarily located. Consequently, to sustain these businesses, I believe that if we're able to afford or provide these businesses with some permanent space at an affordable cost, right? It will make them more viable and sustainable.
Great. Well, let's cross over to Zoom now, because we're joined there by Dr. Sharif Ghali of the Chamber of Young Entrepreneurs Ghana, and of course, together with a different partner with the research there. Gentlemen, we're so grateful that you joined us. Let me start off with you, Dr. Ghali. You have been at the forefront of linking entrepreneurs to productive avenues just to protect them from the impacts of the pandemic. What about this index report shocks the Chamber?
All right, thank you very much, Charles. I hope that my internet is good. I am not at my usual...
Well, it's clear. It's clear.
It's clear. Thank you very much. So yes, Charles, this report, the YB, the Youth Business Performance Index, it comes in twofold. It's not a shock, and it also comes as an opportunity. So let's say it comes in a shock and also an opportunity. Why do we say it's a shock? Because there are certain things that this report has unearthed in that even though we are on the space, trying our best to be able to promote youth entrepreneurship, link them to support, you would realize that there are so many things that we didn't actually look at. For example, getting to understand that the rural businesses are not performing well in certain regions when you would think that they should rather even be doing better. So these and many are some of the things you can call a shock. But in the event of an opportunity, this report has come to open our eye more, so that when we are doing our youth entrepreneurship programming, we can be able to channel the programs to where exactly they are needed. I can make mention of, yes, on the rural entrepreneurship. Now I know that, okay, in this region, this is what they are lacking. We shouldn't be doing everything here. I have to move this project to this region. We need to move this project to this region. And even on the basis of the industry, or you can call them sectors, you will know that this sector, this report will tell you that this sector is, this region is doing well in this sector. This region is doing well in this sector as far as the youth is concerned. So it comes in twofold. A shock, it comes as a shock and also as an opportunity.
Let me also bring in Adam Agbe with the Participatory Development Associate. Adam, of course, you've also gone through this particular index. You partnered in making this come. What other revelations are we missing out of this index?
Yeah, thank you. I think one interesting thing that we found with this index is that we noticed that youth businesses that are registered seem to be performing more than those that are not registered. And so since majority of the young businesses that we're working with, led by young people, are found in the informal sector, it then tells us that we need to have measures to help youth-led businesses in the informal sector get registered. And that seems to be the minimum requirement needed for them to be able to participate in some of the opportunities that are available. So while there is a mindset perception that if I register, then I become liable to tax and the taxman will be after me, they are also missing out on opportunities as well. So that means that we need to see how youth-led businesses in the informal sector could be progressively registered. And we have to bring that to their level. So the business advisory centers and the district assemblies need to do more to bring these people on board. And also what is critical also is about the space for doing business. It is really true the case that there are a lot of digital jobs that are emerging that you find young people actually into it, and some of them also are using other virtual platforms. But young people that are going into manufacturing and production, they need space. But the cost of rental space, it's so expensive that it is actually becoming a barrier to young people to venture into manufacturing. And those that are able to venture into manufacturing in the rural setting are also struggling to connect with markets. And that is the barrier. So it's one of the things that we have to look at. And the support aspect also, it's more becoming a tool that when we are able to do it continuously, it will help us build a robust data system that will help the enterprise agencies, the NEIP and others to be able to do some data-driven planning, to look at how young businesses in the various regions across the country are performing and what kind of investment and support do they need to be able to perform well, to keep to their balance, because it is also obvious that they are the ones that can drive the future of jobs for the country.
Great. So let's now talk about solutions. And just coming into the once again, Dr. Frimpong. So we have identified the index. We have identified the situation as at now. He's talking about so many issues from access to finance to the rental of spaces. What solutions, therefore, can be best, linked to these challenges that most of these youth-based enterprises face?
Okay, so we recommended basically that if there could be a way of providing more spaces, like my colleague just indicated, it's extremely expensive to rent, okay, for those who go into manufacturing and industry. So if, there are support, the NBSSI, the Maslock and things like that can provide office spaces for these young enterprises.
Okay.
Then, it can go a long way of helping. Again, we mentioned the macroeconomic condition in the economy, because the cost of inputs, okay, are generally, high. And of course, it really affects these businesses. So if, the enabling environment or the environment is quite stable macroeconomically, then of course, we should be able to sustain these young businesses. Okay. And of course, they form the future of this, country.
Dr. Frimpong, we're so grateful that you joined us. Also grateful to Adam Agbe as well as Dr. Sharif Gali, who also joined us via Zoom on this index of the entrepreneurs and how they're faring in the sustainability of their ventures. You're still watching Market's Place. We're going for a short break. We'll be right back. Do stay. And to one of our top stories, the National ID card will from today become the unique Social Security and National ID Trust, that is the SSNIT number. This follows the decision by the State Pension Trust to begin the process of merging the two numbers as required by law. SSNIT contributors who have not registered yet to merge their numbers will have from now till December to do so. However, for new users, SSNIT will only accept the Ghana card as the unique identification for processing benefits and contributions. Ifo Amankwa Sarkodie is the Corporate Affairs Manager at SSNIT.
The NIA numbers of members will become their SSNIT number. The measure will create a great deal of convenience for our members, as members can now use the one card, that is the Ghana card, for all transactions. Members need not carry two separate cards for transactions with the trust and other transactions when the Ghana card alone can perform the same function. And also for us at SSNIT, this transition to the use of the Ghana card ties in quite neatly with our quest to improve the ease with which members and clients do business with us. In terms of how this will be done, we have deployed two main platforms. You can use a short code and the SSNIT website.
Businesses have been assured for long-term gains on the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Now, however, they are being urged to be patient with the process as expanding into new markets take time to materialize. General Secretary of the AFTA, Wamkele Mene, spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of the book launch of the Chief Executive of McDan Group, Dr. Daniel Macaulay.
General Secretary for AFTA, Wamkeli Meni, assured businesses of benefits and long-term profits from the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, but he implored businesses to be patient to fully enjoy the benefits of the agreement.
They should look out for long-term yields, for long-term results. When you expand the market from your region or from your country, you expand into a new market rather, the opportunities take time to present themselves in the way of improved profits. You have to establish the supply chain in the new market, you establish new networks in the new market. So it does take time, and we know this from other parts of the world. However, the most important thing is that we've taken the first step. We've created a very, very strong trade environment on the continent, which provides preferential treatment, but we must be patient. It's going to take some time. Most trade agreements around the world take time before you actually see the improved and enhanced trade flows that we want to see.
Minister for Trade and Industry Alan Kyerematen said the country needs to celebrate business moguls who risk resources to ensure that they contribute to economic growth and reduce the rate of unemployment in the country.
And of course, that's how we end this edition of The Marketplace. I'm Charles Ayete. For more news, you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Many thanks once again and enjoy the rest of our programs.